Aloha, and welcome to Betty's Real Estate Corner, brought to you by Sakamoto Properties, Caldwell Banker, Island Properties. In the studio today, Roy and I have got a lot of things that we want to talk about, but I think for the moment, I'm going to make him kind of start on something. We spent a lot of time yesterday, and Roy has spent a lot of time for the last year getting the homes, the 50 homes that have been built at Kapalua for the employees of the golf course. So I think you got to tell some story, and then I'll interrupt.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
As we're doing the show today, we're, a year and about a week from the devastating August 8th fire in Lahaina, and very, very sad. But the principal owner of the golf courses at Kapalua, the company is called TY Management. We found out after the fire that 40-some-odd families had lost their homes. This is just pertaining to the golf course employees. There's 150 employees at the golf courses at Kapalua, and 40-some-odd families lost their homes. And so when the owner found out about the circumstances and so forth, and the owner happens to be a very wealthy individual from Japan, his heart went out to all of his co-workers and basically all of the residents of Lahaina and of Maui. He is a gentleman who has been exposed to Maui for the last 20-some-odd years. Absolutely loves it, loves everything about Maui, the people, the weather, and most of all, the golf. Of course, he golfs every day that he's in town. Anyway, after the fire, he wanted to absolutely do something, first of all, concentrating on helping the employees. And so we looked at various parcels of land throughout West Maui. We looked at some parcels in Ka'anapali. We looked at some in Mahinahina, Kahana, Napili. And then we started looking at some of his own holdings, his golf course holdings at Kapalua. And for some of you old-time Maui residents, the number one hole of the former village golf course at Kapalua turned out to be the exact site that we wanted. We wanted to put in somewhere around 50 homes. And in the meantime, we had worked with Daiwa House out of Japan. Daiwa company is a huge conglomerate in Japan, and they have this modular housing component. And so we started looking at possibilities of having these shipped over from Japan. And
hey, Roy, did Daiwa House actually use housing similar for something in Japan like this?
Yeah, it was. We had to modify slightly to meet the building codes here in Hawaii. But Daiwa House, for example, after the Fukushima earthquake, 12, 13 years ago, something like that, they put their factories to work basically 24/7, and they came up with 10,000 modular homes in 3 months to help the displaced residents of Fukushima. And when I heard that, I mean that's staggering, to be able to manufacture 10,000 homes in 3 months. So anyway, with Daiwa Health personnel on the ground here and working with engineers, Reed Ariyoshi from Warren Unimori Engineering was extremely helpful. We worked with a variety of other professionals here. Lars Werners from Cutting Edge Development.
Lars was really great.
Oh, fantastic, really great. Yeah. And so we kind of piecemealed a plan to put these homes in. And it was a struggle. I mean, we had to have those homes modified slightly. They had to be modified also for shipping to be able to fit in the containers from Japan. Then we found out there's only one freighter from Japan to Honolulu per month or per week, and a lot of the space had already been promised to electronics companies, car companies, and so forth. So we had to ship and work around their schedules and so forth. And it was quite a task. Once the homes arrived in Honolulu, we had to work with young brothers on getting it transferred to barges to barge over to Maui. And so a lot of logistics involved. Anyway, it all came together. We Adam Kaspersky from Kaspersky Designs was a huge help also. And we had a lot of different efforts kind of dead-ended as far as county approvals and so forth. But we were finally able to work through all the difficulties with the county. And this past Tuesday, we had the opening ceremony. And actually, we have 2 tenants who have already moved in. 2 tenants, golf course employees who were displaced by the fire. It was a happy and emotional experience for them to move in. There were a lot of smiles and there were a lot of tears. And, it makes the efforts all worthwhile.
It was amazing. And then the blessing.
Yeah, we had, on Tuesday, we had Governor Green, who was here. Governor Green was very instrumental in helping us maneuver through all the various permits.
He took time, actually, didn't he, to meet Mr. Yanai in Japan?
He actually met with Mr. Yanai in Japan and helped to lay the groundwork for getting all of our approvals. So
that helped a lot, I think.
Oh, fantastic! We had our mayor also. Mayor Bisson that was there, and Kahu Wilmont Kamanu Ka'aiali'i did the formal blessing, and it was a real chicken skin moment for the blessing.
That was totally chicken skin, but yeah, that was great.
We also had officials from Daiwa House Corporation, Mr. Keiichi Yoshii, who is the CEO and chairman of the board, was here. He was able to give a short speech. And Mr. Tadashi Yanai, who is the principal in TY Management, also spoke. And it was a great, great ceremony. It was absolutely fantastic.
Mr. Yanai was fun, too, how he did he usually will speak, I think his English is very good.
It's fantastic.
But he announced at that point that he's Japanese and that he really speaks Japanese. And, I mean, this was a pretty big crowd. And he had somebody there.
A translator.
A translator.
Right.
So he spoke, and then she spoke in English kind of right on top of him. So, everybody could totally understand.
Yes, and very emotional also. It showed the true sincerity of Mr. Yanai's feelings about helping Maui recover. And this is just the first step. But he is basically footing the whole bill. There's no taxpayers' money involved. And what a grand gesture, And he's just doing this for his love of Maui and for West Maui. Quite a gentleman. Absolutely.
It's been amazing, everything that he's done for Kapalua. And, for me, over a period of time, I had heard someone say, well, they're just going to be little houses, nobody will be happy, et cetera, et cetera. And I had kind of said to Roy one day, and I've repeated it now, so let's put it on the radio. But one of the things I think is it'll become the first Sunday morning, maybe the second, and you'll get up in the morning, get a cup of coffee, and grab the kids and just go outside. And now you realize that everybody in the neighborhood. They're all worked for the golf course or have worked for Kapalua or the Ritz. It's going to be pretty amazing. And their kids are there, and you're like in the middle of a forest. I mean, if anyone was ever on the first fairway of the village course, it was spectacular. So it was a fairway with a lot of green, and now the houses are there. They're going to landscape everything. Mr. Yanai is going to handle all of that. But around it, it's a beautiful forest. I mean, you're going to have to figure out where the kids are, but it's really so great, Roy.
It's fantastic. And, I'd like to acknowledge some of our other partners who were instrumental in helping us. Nippon Express. We also had Matson. Matson was a big help in figuring out the shipping issues as far as getting the homes here from Japan. IKEA. All these homes are furnished, completely furnished, and IKEA is the main contributor to this, and IKEA did quite a bit at a huge discount. Costco was absolutely fantastic, and I mean there's a whole wide range. Layton Construction is our general contractor. Goodfellow Brothers did a lot of the groundwork and so forth, so hats off to Goodfellow. And so it was really not only a Maui community effort, but pretty much an international effort that helped put this all together. And our sincere thanks go to all of these companies that really helped.
You know, another person, Kalani, Kaliopu.
Right.
He
yes.
worked so hard with everyone, and he was there the other day, and you could just see the pride in his eyes. Alex Nakajima.
Yes.
Everybody that was involved.
No, it's there were a lot of efforts put forth by tons of different individuals and so forth. Too many to name. Some of the county officials in public works and so forth were very instrumental, and many thanks to all of them.
You know, the other day I took a lot of videos while we were there, and I'm not really good at that, so I've got a lot of mishmash. But I think we're going to give them to Meyer Computer, who takes care of our website. And I don't always look at it the way I have recently. I think it's really great. But they're going to try to take some of these videos and put them on. But when you look, the cabinetry in there is beautiful. The washer dryers, the appliances, everything in there
fully furnished.
Fully furnished.
I mean, the IKEA furniture is fantastic. The cabinets are great. Washer dryers, a full kitchen, everything you need. There's a 50-inch color TV, split system air conditioning. I mean, it's everything you want.
It's everything, and they're beautiful. And again, I think it's hard right now for everyone because life is difficult, and it's going to be difficult for a long time. Some of these people totally lost their homes, some lost rentals, but it's a hard time for everybody. And at least they're going to have 5 to 7 years to be there at Kapalua in the middle of the resort and have hopefully happily kids. The kids are going to be able to go to school not too far away. It's really great, Roy. You did so much.
Well, I mean, there are a whole host of people who helped, so it's very gratifying to see it come together. As I mentioned, first 2 tenants have moved in. We should have all of these occupied by mid-September, hopefully, and looking forward to working together with all of our tenants and making sure they're happy and doing what we can to ensure their safety and well-being. So we're very pleased with that. And again, thanks to Misty and I. Incidentally, Tuesday evening we had a thank you dinner for all of our contractors and everybody who helped work on the project. And it was a real chicken skin evening. This was up at Hua Momona Farms up in Kapalua. And thanks to Gary Gruby, owner of Hua Momona Farms, Zach Laidlaw, executive chef. Zach was the finalist, one of the finalists in Next Level Chef with Gordon Ramsay. Unfortunately, Zach didn't win, but he prepared some fantastic dishes. But I wanted to acknowledge Hua Momona Farms also. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, they've been preparing 400 to 450 meals a day for the displaced residents of Lahaina, those displaced by the fire. And this has all been through their foundation, the Hua Momona Foundation, and contributions from a lot of different purveyors and so forth. But to Gary Gruby and your crew, Gary, many, many thanks for all you do for Lahaina and for what you're doing in the future. They're sponsoring a 3-day event, 2 days at the Ritz-Carlton and 1 day at the Maui Arts and Cultural Center with some well-known recording artists and so forth performing. And all of this will go towards the Hua Momona Foundation to continue the fantastic work that they're doing. So hopefully the Maui community turns out and supports these 3 events coming up.
You know, another thing, just kind of almost like for the record, you know, we were never paid to do anything. Roy got involved in this and almost his idea to begin with, and it all happened. But, you know, every so often somebody assumes that, well, because we're realtors and we've been involved, et cetera, that it was a big money maker. Well, not for us. But we're so happy that we were able to do it. And the majority of the people involved, you know, weren't paid. The contractors were paid, and they gave really great rates, to the best of my knowledge, on everything, you know, so that they could get them done as speedy as they could and take care of everyone. And is there anyone else you can think of that we should comment on? Or
there's a whole list I'm sure I'm missing, but none that come to mind right now. Interestingly enough, I've inquired of Mr. Yanai's right-hand person, Mr. Kenji Yui, who has been spearheading this project. And I've asked Kenji-san several times, what is this costing? And bottom line, it's none of my business. I have, you know, they don't want to disclose what it's costing. And I respect that. Mr. Yanai doesn't want to put a dollar figure on the cost of doing this. But we're proud that it's, again, not one penny of government money involved in this. He is footing the entire bill.
And, you know, they did say at the event the other day, it's the first time a project like this has ever been done that wasn't paid for by the government.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I mean, I think that by itself says a lot for Mr. Yanai. Did you mention before the architect, Adam Kaspritsky?
Yes.
I didn't know if you did, but
right.
I just was remembering how much he did.
Adam and his team were fantastic from the first day we contacted Adam, and the attitude from Adam was fantastic. Let me know what I can do. And he went to work right away. He and his team were fantastic. And I know Adam has been doing a lot of different floor plans, house plans for Lahaina residents, and is offering them free of charge. So if the Lahaina residents who were displaced by the fire would like to rebuild, one alternative is to contact Adam, and he'll help you through the various permitting processes, and there's no charge. So mahalo, Adam.
It's amazing how many people stepped up, you know, professionals, and did what was their normal job, but for free.
Yes.
And then some people couldn't do that. I mean, they had a lot of people working for them, et cetera, and you can't spend, you know, your whole life in one project. You know, so I think the people that got paid definitely should have gotten paid. And they worked so hard. I mean, everybody worked extremely hard. And certainly Adam did.
And many of the workers who worked on this project were also displaced.
Yes.
And I know Adam, unfortunately, lost his dad in the fire, but he was front and center in helping us through all the permitting and so forth. Mahalo, Adam.
Yeah, I think it took them a long time to know. I mean, they knew that he was gone, but it took a long time to know for sure.
He was one of the last, I guess, identified. His remains were finally identified. But, you know, I guess they suspected he was gone, but not confirmed.
Yeah. But sadly, it has been confirmed. You know, we're coming down to the end of this.
Yeah,
so.
But, you know, again, we're obviously a real estate show, but we're not talking real estate today. But, you know, with Meyer Computer's help, we're going to be posting a lot of this info on our website. So if you can go to sakamotoproperties.com, hopefully we'll be able to upload some photos and videos of the opening ceremonies for these homes. It's called the Kapalua Village project, and it's quite an undertaking. So
it's pretty amazing, really, what's been done and how it's all working. We'll check with Jesse and find out what will crash our website. Come on, let's try. Anyway, it would be amazing, but it is a great website, and it's going to have a lot of good information on it.
Right, yeah. And it
always does.
Yeah. And again, it is a real estate website, so if you're curious about any properties on Maui, go to sakamotoproperties.com. But again, if you want further information as far as the Kapalua Village project, we should have that posted on our website in the very near future. And go to sakamotoproperties.com, and it'll lead you there. So, we're doing this again not because of the big money involved and so forth, or any fame or whatever, but I think it's important for all of us to help Maui. We are a village, and unfortunately, we had fires up in Kula and Kihei on the same day. They've kind of taken a back seat to, of course, the Lahaina fires because of the devastation and the number of lives lost. But also our neighbors up in Kula, who are in the process of rebuilding, our thoughts and prayers are with them also. And if there's anything we can do, we as Roy and Betty Sakamoto, please reach out to us. We're willing to help and do whatever we can. 808-870-7060 is my phone number. 808-870-7062 is Betty's. And, we're willing to help. I don't think there was much property damage in Kihei, even though there was a lot of panic. But, just in driving over from Lahaina today and going through the plains in Ma'alaya, wow, we're tinder dry. We are on the verge of, I think, unfortunately, perhaps another devastating fire, and hopefully there's no loss of lives. But we need to be vigilant, and if there's any suspicious activity, please call 911, because we do have some crazies out there lighting fires and so forth. Anything suspicious, please get it reported right away.
Absolutely. I think that really is a key right now. Anytime you think there's something, when you look back at that, and certain people were critical of the fire department or the police department or anyone that day, but when you look back, we have limited everything. We have a limited fire department, a limited police department, a little bit limited everything. And how could they possibly? And their phones, different phones that they would have used that day, I'm sure they had emergency connections, but it had to be the worst. They didn't have the coverage that they would have had any other time. So I say thank you to our fire department, to our police department.
Yeah, all of our first responders. We never had a roadmap for doing this. Fantastic job.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to have Danny Couch coming back on in a minute with I Love Hawaii. And bottom line for Roy and I, Roy's a Lahaina Luna grad and always here. So thank you. Thank you to everybody.
Aloha.
Aloha. And to Danny Couch.